And this is the Rule Your Money Show. I am your host, Dakota Grady. Hey, y'all, welcome to the show today. I have a guest, Mr. CJ or Cris Jon Nurse. If you want to start a YouTube channel, this is the guy who can help you start that. So, CJ, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, man. Look, I'm excited to be on here, honored to be on here, but I'm on here now and I'm happy to be here, bro.
So, basically, you are a creator. Specifically, you do audio or as you do video and also photography for some name people. You got your, of course, you got your wife. He has her show on YouTube, and also Anthony O'Neill, and I don't know any other your other clients, but I'm sure you have more clients. And from when I know you travel on the East Coast, DC. You talked about you going to DC down to Florida. So let's talk about who you are.
All right. Well, first, I got clarify. Joy, that's my friend. Anthony always introduces her as my wife. But that's my friend. We were dating for a while, but we still work together. Yeah, she's definitely part of the journey to where I'm at now. So let's run it back. So 2000, I graduated from University of Kentucky. I have a degree in telecommunications, and it was more suited for like going into like telecommunication law. I was kind of burned out of school after I graduated. I was like, I don't want to go another four for law. So I have a minor in multimedia design, and that's where I took up a lot of my courses, like for like lighting and videography, film, stuff like that. While I was in school, I actually did an internship at a television station. So when I graduated, one of the guys I did an intern for, he went over to Comcast and he was like, "Hey man, you would make a great video producer." And I was like, "I agree. I would." So went over there and man, like I hooked on, doing commercials and stuff for businesses and stuff. And but then I got to a point where I was like, man, I really want to like be creative. Like I want to be able to like spread my creative wings, so to speak, and do it on my own. So after 7 years of working for Comcast, it was AT&T when I first got there, then it turned into Comcast. I was like, I just want to do it on my own. Like I want to be able to be creative. So 2007, I left to just have faith in God and was like, I know God gave me the talent and the gift, so He'll provide for sure. That's what I stepped out on, and man, I haven't looked back. I've definitely had moments of just like, whoo, this is crazy, but I promise, man, like just really.
If you want to make better decisions with your finances, stop overspending, and stop impulse spending, get you a free resource, the free money plan budget tracker at thecontencreator.com. This is how you're going to really transform your finances in 2025.
Depending on the gifts that God gave me, man, like I promise, like everything just has fallen into place. So, fast forward a little bit. Well, I've done. I I was able. I got to a drought. Honestly, that's what happened. So, it was going great. Then went to a drought, and the drought came kind of right after the recession, the housing market crash, or whatever. Instead of for a minute, I was heavy into music, so I was doing a lot of music production. As you can see, I got my board because it's one of my passions, film and video. So it just kind of hit me, man. Like just start creating, like because the clients weren't coming in as often as frequent. So I started just telling stories. Like I would, I found people in the community that I thought was interesting, and I would go film, ask them, hey, is it cool if I film you, tell your story? Made a few videos, man. Some of the videos wound up in some pretty prominent hands, commercially speaking. But I still want, I had a yearning to do something with one of which was CSX, which is like the big train set on like if you ever watch the trains go by, sometimes you'll see the CSX on the side and stuff. They're a huge company. And they like the stories I was telling. Well, it was an agency that saw it and they liked the story and it was like hitting me up and it was like, hey, you mind doing some work with us? Boom. So next thing I know, I'm doing like all this, you know, work for this agency, which CSX was one of the clients, and like the Jacksonville Orchestra, and just a lot of dope little clients. Then from there, somebody from that agency sent my work to Mayo Clinic. Next thing you know, Mayo Clinic becomes a client. Like I become, you know, a preferred vendor for for them. I think the key thing with that was that when I had that moment or that season of where it just slowed down and I was like, you know, because everything was coming so easy at first that I didn't stop using my gift. Like it slowed down when I stopped using my gift. And then when I started to use it again, like, man, this is what you do. This is what you wanted to do. This is what God, you know, gave you talents in. Use it. And I did it just to do it, not worried about the money. That's when more opportunities came. And so like that's always been my mindset. It's like, man, as long as I'm always doing this, the thing that God gifted me to do, it's like God provides. So man, yeah, I end up getting all these bigger clients, and I did music videos for a lot of different gospel artists. I actually ended up winning a Stella Award for Anthony Brown. Me and a partner back then, her name was Marcia. Yeah, won a Stella Award. And then I ended up doing like music videos for different record labels and artists like Cash Money, and did some work for Fantasia and Music Soul Child. Like it's just different. Like, man, I've done so much stuff in my little life. I forgot more than I remember. One of the biggest, biggest and best connections was actually seated way back in like 2004, and the year right before my daughter was born, 2 years after my son was born. And that was I got a call from this young guy. He was like, "Hey, man, I want to meet with you. You know, I've seen some of your work, and I want you to do some work for my youth group. I'm a youth pastor and stuff." And I was like, "Bet, man. That's cool. Why don't you come by the house and we'll chop it up." So he shows up, and it was Anthony O'Neill. So man, I was like, "Man, you know what? Yeah, man, I like your heart. I like your vision. I like that you're wanting to do creative stuff for your kids, because we did everything for his youth ministry, man. Like we we shot music videos back then. Like anything he had, like we recorded I had a studio back then. I had his kids come through and record a song. Like we did so we just always rocked out. And here it is, 2025, and we're still rocking with each other. When he went to Dave Ramsey, he was like, "Hey, I need my guy, I need my brother, you know, creating for me," and that's what happened. I ended up doing work for him and Ramsey, and yeah, man. And when he left Ramsey, I was like one of the first phone calls. He was like, "Man, I want to build this out." I was like, "Say less, I'm there." And yeah, man. So that led me into kind of the space I'm in now of working with other creators and stuff. Like you mentioned, I work with Anthony, I work with Joy River, Bobby Price, Dr. Bobby Price, Dr. Holistic. I've worked with Terry Gioma, Justin Owens. Yeah, I've worked with several creators, man. And this is like a dope space to be in, because I would never imagine that you could just make make a dope living just doing what I love to do, man. So look, I've been talking. I'm gonna shut up now. Go ahead, ask me what you you want to know.
Wow, thank you for sharing your journey. Talk about your faith because I'm a follower of Christ too. It's like it gets difficult, especially when you're an entrepreneur. You mentioned you kept creating, doing what God basically called you to do. Do you ever feel like you don't know what to do next? Did you feel like that when you had the drought?
Yeah, in that drought, man, it definitely was that was a crazy season just because I left my job at 20 in 2007, and it was like the recession of the housing market crash was like 2008, right? So 2007, 2008, I mean, projects are flowing left and right. And then towards like the summer of 2008, I think just said, pop. Just, ooh, man, out of, it just felt like out of nowhere. Just everything, everybody stopped spending and stuff. Yeah, like that definitely had me shook and I didn't know what to do because I was like, dang, God, like you, everything was going good and I know I was going the right way. Like, why? What am I supposed to do now? It was looking rough, bro. Like honestly, it was looking rough. And I had to just take a step back and remember, that God takes care of the birds and all the animals out there, then I know he's gonna take care of me. And thinking about that honestly put me back on the right track because just sitting there. I literally remember looking out my backyard and just it used to be like this cardinal that's just come by all the time. And I was like, man, all that bird, all he does you know, is be free and know that God has him. Like, and he flies. Like he's a bird, he's made to fly. And I'm like, dang, man, I got a skill. God gave me a gift. So I should just use it. And that's what I did. I was like, I'm just gonna tell my stories. Like I love telling stories. That's like the basis of everything that I do. Like I like to film, the filming portion of it, but when I film, I always try to tell a story through it. Even down to, with my kids. Like I used to just love telling stories and we'll just make up stuff on the fly and like it'd just be a group. So that's what I lean towards. So and that's what I learned to do since then is like, if there's a moment of doubt, just remember, man, God's gonna take care of me as long as I'm doing staying faithful to him and doing the things that he's gifted me to do. So that's what got
Super
me through.
dope.
Mhm.
So you have Anthony on the Growth channel. He's almost at 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yes.
We're gonna dive into that because I'm also a part of his community. How,
Yes.
I guess, more to talk about what do you someone need? They're starting a YouTube channel. What do they need to get started in terms of equipment? Because you put me on game. It's daytime now, but you can't really see the light behind me. And for those who are watching online, you can't see the light, but when it's nighttime, you'll see that it's glowing. So if y'all need to watch another episode before this episode, check out. You'll see the dope this ambience in my room right here. But right now it's the sun in the sunroom and the sun's coming in. But he
Sun
put
is
me on game
sunny.
in terms of equipment, the audio as well. So just start with the basic thing that a creator needs to start their YouTube channel, please.
Yeah, so if you're looking to to get into the YouTube space, which I would encourage you to do, especially if you have either a story to tell or you have knowledge of a particular skill set or items or stuff like that. YouTube is a great space and you don't have to have everything. You can get started with what you have, most importantly. Like I think a lot of times people don't get started because they feel like they have to have this like elaborate setup. And you don't. Remember what I was saying, like storytelling is a big part of it. And even when you're presenting products or presenting, if you want to teach somebody something, if you have a skill set or anything like that, it's how you tell it and how you engage with the audience that's really going to captivate them. So if you only have a phone, rock with your phone. But there are things you can do to at least get it to where it looks like you put some effort into it. Because sometimes you can have a dope story, the dopest of stories, and people are roll right past because of the look. So what I always encourage people to do is like if you just simply have a phone, then put yourself in the best lighting as possible. God's lighting is always best, man. Like if you can't afford the light, but you got the phone, hey, go outside, but just don't stand in direct sunlight, right? You can put yourself in like more of a shaded area and not try not to have anything bright behind that shaded early area because it'll give a nice even lighting for you. Or you can sit in a window, by a window, but make sure once again the sun isn't directly hitting going through that window unless you have like a white curtain, something that diffuse the light and make it soft so all the shadows are soft and even. You'd be surprised you can get some very dope lighting that way. On your audio, man, you can invest. If you can afford the phone, you can at least invest in like you go on Amazon, they have like these like $20 USB mics that you can plug directly into either iPhone or the Android phones now, especially if you have a USB-C connection. For $20, you can get some pretty incredible sound. I have these are like road goes, and they're great. Now they're a little more expensive. You're gonna spend for you can get like one for 100 and something. I want to say like 130 or something like that. But you can get a two pack for I want to say $200, which they're great. Gonna give you great sound. But like I said, I wish I had my other one upstairs. There's like a little $20 USB-C mic that just plugs into the bottom of my iPhone. $20 and it's really great, great audio, especially when you're on the go. Or once again, if you don't have like the fancy cameras, just use your phone, use your audio. It's gonna give. And the reason why I probably would stress audio over the video is just because if you're telling a good story, you're gonna captivate. You're gonna grab the person's ear, and that's the main thing. So if you got their ear, you want to at least be able you want to be able to express a clear message without a whole bunch of like them struggling trying to hear you. This mic, this mic right here. I mean, I love this mic. I ain't paid nothing, but it was on sale for like $49 for fine. Use the link that Dakota's gonna drop for you. He has look. He's rocking the for fine. For fine is a great company. The sound is comparable to
Sure.
Sure. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, the Sure mics are great. They're awesome, awesome. But I'll put this this mic, this for fine mic, next to it any day. Like you can't really tell the difference, man. And you get the cool, RGB lighting and stuff. It's a dope setup. So you don't really have to spend a whole lot to get yourself into the game. You can definitely, I mean, these phones nowadays are gonna give you pretty high quality. Or if you're on your laptop and you need to just use the camera on your laptop for now, just make sure you invest in a decent mic and tell your story. Tell your story. Start there because you got to start somewhere. And a lot of people don't start because they think they have to have this elaborate setup. I'm guilty of that myself sometimes. Like, I've been trying to connect with this brother. I don't know how many times, but then I don't have my this stuff set up because I'm ripping and running. But I ain't want to disrespect the show either. I'm talking about videos and stuff, and I ain't want to be like, hey, well, off my phone. But there are times that I should just jump on my phone, and I do. I've been learning to do that. That's what, because one of the biggest things that I think also keeps people from taking that first step. And I know you asked me about equipment and stuff, but even before the equipment, man, you gotta just take the first step. So don't put it on the equipment all the time. Just grab that phone and no matter what it looks like, just tell your truth. And and the reason why I say that is because when you learn to tell your truth, that's when people really listen. Perfect example, I did producer stuff with Joy, and we're on a break from filming now. It ain't because we ain't together, so don't even think it ain't the thing. She been traveling, but I remember telling her we was building the show, trying to find a rhythm for it, and I had a conversation with her one time. I was like, "Hey, the moment you become vulnerable and really tell your truth, that's when your stuff is going to take off for you." Man, she told a story that she was a little hesitant about telling, but I was like, "Yo, that's going to be the one." Lo and behold, that was the first viral video she had. That video, I think it went to like 4 million, 4 or 5 million. And it was just her being honest. Every time she did that, from there on, viral, viral, viral. So, before you get caught up on the equipment, man, just learn to tell your truth, you know. Now I ain't saying you gotta tell other people's business. Let it be your business. Let it be your business. But even with Anthony, Anthony, I've always encouraged the sound bites that we get. The ones that go viral are the ones that really resonate. The ones that resonate with his audience. Like, he talks about a lot of stuff, but it's like we try to pick the clips that like where you can find yourself in the clip. And that's what helps it go viral. Man, I'm just chatting, bro. My bad, man. I don't even be eating up your time and stuff like this, man. You gotta tell me shut up sometimes, brother. And I ain't even a preacher, but I'm a son of a preacher, and that's probably why I talk as much as I do. Lord Jesus.
No, thank you for sharing. That's honest because people resonate with truth. I mean, if they see themselves in your truth, they can relate to you and then make the connection, and hopefully they'll be able to follow you and grow your channel. That's basically the essence of having a YouTube channel, creating a channel, a story that people can relate to, and you can connect and grow. So,
Yeah.
so anything else you gotta leave the audience? Any more nuggets or just one something
Yes.
that can encourage people? Because I think you already did that, but some people may be afraid to be even on camera. So can you talk about that too? I mean, real quick.
Yeah. So, if you're afraid to be on camera, I would say at least film yourself with the camera. And if you decide not to use the video portion of it, you can always just take that audio and put it to a podcast. And that's one of the things we teach in the ICS. Speaking of which, if you want to learn more about the YouTube, the YouTube first technique that we use, go to ICS. So if you go to anthonyoneal.com, and I want to say it's under one of those pages. Yeah, ICS is Impact Creator Society. Just look it up. Maybe Dakota can put in a link. That's a great place to learn because if we we teach the YouTube method, but we also teach that you also need to take everything that you create for YouTube and break it down for other platforms, but also take the long form of it and put it to a podcast. So whether that's a podcast platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it's several. You can use a platform called Red Circle, and Red Circle will distribute it to several platforms. If you're shy about being not being on camera, you can just do the podcast version, or you can just take that audio and create video around it, right? You can use what we call B-roll to tell your story. So if you don't want to be on camera, you can go to a website like Pexels, PEXEL.com, and it has free videos and pitch images and stuff that you can put on top of your story to tell your story. And you can create that story within certain apps like CapCut. That's a free app. Prequel. Canva has some editing apps. Adobe Rush. So there's like a lot of little free apps that you can use to help, tell your story if you don't want to be on camera. And if you just don't even want to create the video, then create the audio side of it. Now, if you're just a creative in general and you want to know more about like how to create just dope videos for other clients and stuff like that, that's when you go to Creator Checks, creatorchecks.com, and you check out Alex, Alex and myself. We're over there and we're teaching people how to do what we do. And that's a whole nother revenue for you. So it's all sorts of ways to, get into the creator content market, man, and make a living. And if not make a living, you can at least make an extra decade or two. Who says decades anymore? Negroes that are probably over 40.
Hey, CJ, bro, thank you for your time. How
No
can people
problem,
connect with
bro.
you online, social media, website, and everything else, brother?
Oh man, if you go to Cris Jon Media, CrisJonMedia, that's me on I think that's pretty much me on most of the social platforms. Or my website is contencreators.life. Contencreators.life, man. Tell you now, I'm so busy. Stuff ain't always up to date. But you get a good idea of what I do. So you can reach out to me there on it as well. So yeah. Man, thanks for having me on here though. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time, because I know you're busy, like I talked earlier. You're moving running fast, so thank you for your time, CJ.
Man, thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. And this is the Rule Your Money Show, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us.